got microphone holders on each side, so please wait until they come around with a microphone.
Really proud of Otto's Army, freshman, sophomore, junior class, the seniors, Syracuse, the community. Wow. The noise level was through the roof. And there's no doubt that it affected a really, really special athlete in Malik Cunningham. And I couldn't be prouder of the atmosphere that was in the JMA. The players, the coaches, it was a complete, we're exhausted. It was a complete win. We left it all out there, players and coaches. And, we took some hits, and we're not going to talk about them. We're going to see what the results are. But right now, you got 105 guys in there that are just elated, and they better be good. And Marshall Street better not close down because they deserve it. Questions?
We're going to start with Kate in back, right there in the pink dress. Pass that microphone to her, please.
Hi, Coach. Congratulations on the win. Just given what's happened with Louisville the last 3 years, the way they've kind of handed it to you, how does it feel just to get them back in this way in the opener in such a big game?
You know, I'm looking up, I'm cheating, I'm looking up at that video screen because I'm going to watch this game and I'm going to watch the game tonight before I go to bed. Then I'm going to watch it 3 more times before the team gets to see it at 3 o'clock tomorrow. But there's a play up there, Garrett Williams is picking off a post route in the end zone. And I really believe if you go back and check your records, it's like the same post route that they've thrown for touchdowns on. It's like at least, I know it's happened twice. I don't know if it's happened every year. And it was just one of those plays that we said, we can't let this play beat us again. This has been deja vu too many times. And then when they threw it, the guy was open, and the first thing I did is my eyes went straight to the backside, which was Garrett. I'm going to get to your answer, and I'm watching Garrett, and I'm like, you got this, Garrett? Do you have this, Garrett? And sure enough, he did. And there's times when people speak and, people just hear, which for us is not enough. When we're making corrections, we want people to listen. Because when you hear, it goes in one ear and goes out the other. When you listen, it's stuck between the 2 ears, and it stays there for a while, and it ferments. And this team was really, really locked in to give themselves the best opportunity to do something that a lot of people didn't think we could do. And, Brent Axe gets a feather in his cap. A whole bunch of school reporters get 0-1. Hopefully they'll get a winning season before it's all said and done. But I'm not going to go neener, but neener.
Next, we're going to go to Dan right there, and then Steven in front.
Coach, you just talked a little bit about the defense. 3 straight turnovers in the second half, and then another forced fumble that Louisville recovered. Just what you can say about the onslaught that they had to make sure that score stayed at 7.
They really did a fantastic job of breaking down Louisville and breaking down Appalachian State. And I'm watching the same offense. North Carolina gets a win in a battle, but the same offense scoring points on North Carolina. And I'm never going to talk about another team and talk about another coach. But it was one of those things where, I'm looking at how many points they're scoring, and I'm going, holy moly. And they went against the JV, and we're going against the varsity. The defense did an amazing job. And once again, even the plays that they had that were successful, really, I'm not saying this, we made some mistakes on. I mean, the guys knew what the mistakes were. The coaches knew what the mistakes were, and we're looking at them, you know this. Don't do that. And they're like, yes, coach, I won't do it again. Well, that's great. Try not to do it the first time, okay? But they really played a complete game. Couldn't be happier for Coach White. Couldn't be happier for those single-digit guys in that entire defense, and the way the backups came in when guys went down. Really proud of them.
Steven, then Emily in front.
So I know you can't probably rely on getting 3 straight turnovers in 2 short fields like that, but what did you take from the offense, particularly the passing game, seeing, a nice version out there for the first time?
Watch this. I thought Anai did a fantastic job with the offense. I thought the offense did a fantastic job. Now I'll throw something back at you, Stephen, because I know you've got that eye. Just think about what it would have looked like if we didn't have the drops. Well, watch this. Here's my thing about the penalties. Were there too many? Yep. Were there a lot on both sides? I haven't looked. I'd imagine there's a lot on both sides. That they have a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, like false starts and like snap infractions.
Right.
Probably. I mean, I don't know. You know better than me.
Well, I haven't looked at it yet, but I'll have a lot better feel for it by Monday. But some of those penalties were aggressive penalties. Some of those, when you watch what was going on, you don't like the penalties where, the mental ones. But when you talk about the game and their effort and what they were trying to overcome, I mean, I don't know if you've been there or not. This is a bully that's beating you up 3 times in the courtyard, and you haven't eaten for a while, and he's taking your money and he's taking your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you're getting skinny and you need something to eat. So it was great to finally get an opportunity to win a game against him, and we're going to take it. It's the first game of the year, and even with those penalties, we have a tool now, and we can go back and work on those, which is what you're supposed to do on games where you start the season. You have an opportunity to clean some of that stuff up, and it doesn't show up so much. In a conference game, it's drastic. So we've got some games where we go back and clean some things up before we go back into conference.
The flip side of, I guess, like the window dressing and the motion, scheming guys open, like getting a rondé on that touchdown.
It's complicated, and sometimes we make mistakes with the officials, but what was that? Yet Satisfying. I think that's a movie. Lion King. Yet Satisfying.
It's been a while.
Yeah, well,
I didn't see the live action.
well, you don't have kids. When you have kids, you see the Lion King. All right, I got you. I'll keep that between us.
Garrett Schrader played a really well-balanced game tonight, rushing, passing. Was there anything in particular that you feel like he really excelled at tonight?
Being the field general, being competitive, showing guys that he's willing to give it all up and end it right there to get a first down to win a game. I mean, there's no doubt you can follow him. He shows you the way. And if you're not going to give the same effort that he's given, boy, you better be a heck of a politician. You better be able to talk it right off. You better be able to talk, because he's an action guy, and you want to follow his lead.
A slight follow-up. Did you consider calling a timeout after either of those times his helmet popped off to keep him in the game there?
You know what? I got a story about that. You want my story?
Yes, please.
I was playing a position, and I had an NFL guy in front of me. And this is true story. And the coach, our head coach always said, nothing is worth a penalty. Nobody's worth a penalty. Okay, not a penalty, a timeout. Timeouts are precious. Nobody's worth that. You got to save your timeouts. And we had this NFL guy get hurt. He was actually tapping to come out of the game. And I started to run on the field, and my position coach stopped me and looked at me. And then he called a timeout. And me knowing what I knew told me right there where I was at that position. And it hurt me beyond hurt. I'll never forget it. After the year was over, the coach came to me and told me I was going to be the starter the next year. After he said that and he left me, I went to the head coach and told him I wanted to change positions, which I did. It's really demoralizing to an athlete when you do that. And it better be a situation where you're really sure. So I'm extremely sensitive to that. And I did not think about calling a timeout at all. We coach well enough, and the backup quarterback is good enough that he can go in there for a play. Now, if it's the ACC championship game or something like that, or the national championship game, don't hold me to that. I might call a timeout. But this game, no, I had never even thought about it.
Coach, I know all training camp we talked about this new offensive scheme, the pass-centric or balanced approach. After the first game, what do you say your main takeaways are from that?
I think you guys need to look at the numbers. I mean, I look at the numbers, and what Tucker has almost exactly the same rushing yards as he has passing yards. You know, it's one thing to tackle him when there's 10 guys in the box. There's another game to tackle him when you're out there and you're one-on-one and everybody else is covering somebody else. I mean, the key thing is to get the ball to Tucker. And I thought that the offense, Robert and I, and Garrett Schrader did a good job of that.
Alex, right in front.
Hey, Coach. This is probably I think this is the sixth time you faced Malik Cunningham, since you guys have faced Louisville, and just want to know, like, did it take some time still, like, trying to figure him out as you go along in the game, or did you've seen him so many times, kind of how to approach that, and I guess what do you think about how you guys stopped him today?
This was a new approach. This was not the same. The other times we lost was an old approach. This was a new approach, and I'm not going to say it, publicly like this because it's not right, it's not proper. But if you want to off camera, offline, without you putting it in print, I'll be glad to tell you. I know that's hard for you guys sometimes. So if you can't do it, don't break my rule and lie to me. Don't look me in the eye and lie. But if you want to know and not print it, I'll tell you. But it was a different approach than what we had before. And the reason why we thought we should try it is because all the other approaches didn't work.
Last two, we'll start back with Tommy. Blue shirt. Back row. Thank you.
Coach, you alluded to in the beginning there making a mention of Otto's Army, but on some of those third down plays, your defense is out there. It was deafening from the press box. What was it like for you on the field?
It reminded me of the good old days, and it also told me that we need more. There was a lot of people in there, but it wasn't a full house. And someone told me, well, if you win, they will come. Well, we won. I'll be looking to see you real soon.
And last question for Coach, go back to Coach.
Hi, Coach. Jordan, ESPN Syracuse. You're not going to talk a lot about special teams and the 31-7 win, but they were almost immaculate. Can you speak on Coach Ligashevsky's impact and what more you guys have to work on?
Are you kidding me? You don't think I'll talk about special teams?
Oh, I want you to.
Well, I'm going to.
Let's get it.
Are you kidding me? To go out and to see a punt that goes longer than 9 yards, to see guys traveling and covering. We had a situation where we had a person offsides, and we kicked the ball, and the ball went down to the 27-yard line. Is this enough detail for you? And then instead of taking the ball on the 27-yard line, they backed us up 5 yards and told us to kick again. And all those guys had ran down once. And most of those guys are on the starting defense. And everybody looked at me like we were going to take them off and sub them out. We're not subbing them out. If they need to take a blow, they can take a blow on defense. And then we ran them down again 5 yards further. And I'm really sure, I'm not perfect. Lord knows I'm not. But I'm really sure that when the smoke cleared, the ball was back on the 27-yard line again. They did an unbelievable job, and watch this, of stopping a returner that we know is dangerous because we signed him. Okay, and he used to be our starting tailback, and we wish nothing but the best for him. But we know how good he is, and we're not to kick that ball to that young man and to be able to tackle him in that situation. That's big-time special teams. That's just a start. Is that enough? I'm going to stop. Your question is, I'm going to stop right there.